Hello and welcome back to Angular 2 Masterclass with Alejandro Rangel. In this section we will talk about getting the user input for receiving the values of the cities that the users want to get the weather. Okay, so we need to get the key up event every time that the user type a city in an input, and then we will fake data from our weather class that we created in the previous video. We will fake the data and display this on the screen. So this time I won't be coding all the time, but I will use some pre-snippets because we will code quite a bit, but I will explain every section in detail. So if you want to do it at home, you have to follow the entire user input chapter and you will be able to get the same result. So our task in this case will be, we will get the city from a user input, then we will add the HTML input in our template, and then we will just generate dynamically one row per city that we get the weather. That's the task for this video. So the plan will be doing first, first we will add the second line in the template, the input. Okay, this is the case, so let's go here. Yes, so this input will have the the two-way data binding. So here I explained that the square brackets mean a binding of the value that we are displaying. So if we change the value, this value change, and in conjunction with the other ones, we will have a two-way data binding. This is super important because then we can change the value and it's going to be always updated in both directions. Remember, one syntax is for the bend and the other one is for the binding, and the two together will be the two-way data binding. Okay, so so parentheses, square bracket, and the two. That I think in the Angular documentation they put something like a banana in a box. So it's super funny the way that they put the two-way data binding. So in case you are wondering, the two-way data binding, this is just a shortcut for, if you see here, we have first the square bracket for the binding of the variable city. So this is the ng model binding to city. We have seen this in the previous videos. And the second one with the parentheses will be the ng model change, and this will capture every time that we change the city. This change will be in the $event, with the event emitter, and it will be assigned to the city. So the banana in the box is just a shortcut, but for this kind of syntax. You can use any of them. So the next point is that once the user press enter in the user input, ideally we should save this value, the city, for example London, in an array of all the cities that the user have tell to the application, I want to know the weather of London, I want to know the weather of California, and so on. So we will need an array of cities, of weather of cities, just to hold this. And then we will have to prepare the template for rendering several cities. We will do this once in a time in one row, every city. Okay. So our template in the component should look something like this. Take a look on the input. So in this case we have the two-way data binding. Then we have a listener for the key up. So we will call a function that is add city. That's super important. Take a look on the second parameter. So we are passing $event. This is important because inside $event, it's going to be the key up event. So create a small documentation about this. So this is capturing the event key up, and every time that we call add city, we will pass a city. Yeah, this comes from the ng model and also the event. And from there we can say, okay, if the event is, for example, enter, yeah, then the key code 13, then we do this call to the server. If not, the user can keep time. Yes. Then we have the array, yes, of weather of cities, and in every iteration using the structural directive ng4, if you remember the asterisk ng4, yep. Then we have every iteration we create a local variable that is going to be named weather, and then we display weather.city, weather.main, and so on. This is how it's going to look the final code. Don't worry so much because we will get into detail when we do the practical example, but I put some information, some hints, so you can take a look on the PowerPoint or PowerPoint or PDF at the end. Yeah, and you think about every slide. This is the array of cities of the user request. This is the array of the weather retrieved from the server. In this case, we will fake this, but at some point later on in another video, we will have this with real data. This is the constructor. We initialize all variables. Then this is how it's going to look our get weather. Right now it's fake, so you can see that if you type Vienna, we will create a weather there, and if you type London, we will create also a London weather, and we return this. This is the get weather function, and this is the add city function. So we receive the city as the first parameter, and the second one is the $event. This is comes from Angular. It's a wrapper of the JavaScript event, the standard one. So we can check if $event, the key code is 13, so this is the key enter. Then we will make the request to the server, we get the weather, and then we display this because we are putting this in the array. And the final part, well, here's the explanation of this. The final part is this .city. It's an empty string, and this is just to clean our user input. Remember the double data binding, the banana in the box. So this we are ready to get more user input. So let's do some coding now, just to see this working. I will minimize this. I will put it in my other screen because we will use some code from here. And there, we are ready to go. So first, we need to get from here the user input, right? So again, double data binding. So this will take care always updating the city with the latest value. The next step will be, yes, we have it like here. Wait a second. Yes, we have it here. So the next step is the loop. So we have this from the previous example, from the previous video. We don't need this anymore. Let's put something more real. So we have this snippet. Yeah, this HTML code. Let's put it properly. So we have an unordered list. We have our structural directive ng4. So we will iterate through all weather of cities. Every time that we do an iteration, it's going to be in weather, and we display here the values. Yep. Okay, this is the next part. Okay. So this is what we need right now. Yeah. So the next part is this one. So we have a variable city. This is a variable that will be working with the two data binding. Then we have cities. This is the array where we push every time that the user type a city and click enter, we will put it in an array. Then we have a weather of cities, and this is what we are going to iterate. So let's now put the fake get weather function. So we put it here. So this is a get weather function that I explained earlier. And finally, the last part of our code is going to be the add city. So here we have the add city. So every time that we click, press enter or type a variable, we will call this function. So, okay, we need to update this. Let's do it here. So we have on key up, we will call add city, and we pass the city variable, and we pass $event. Okay, this is fine. This is playing the weather. Okay, so I think we are ready to go. Yeah, so we have here the input. This is saying this is a weather forecast in. We don't have any city. So we are going to type here, for example, for an example, yes, we have London. We click, type enter, and we display London. Ta-da! Now we want the forecast from Vienna. Ta-da! And if we write something else, nothing is happening. This part, we don't need it anymore for continue with the code, so we will remove it. If we need it later on, we add it. But let's take a look on the final design. So we don't need it. And we are almost there, right? Now we start showing the information. So let's do it again. London. Yeah, it's ugly, minimalistic, but it's already working. So from here, we have to recap that we are getting the user input here and the events here, and everything else is just coding. This is the business logic. Okay, so yeah, and actually here we have one extra. That's a good of TypeScript that we don't have any error. We check that everything's working again. So we reload the browser. Yes, so we are safe, right? Good. And I forgot to mention that if we type, it always cleans the values, right? So this is the last part. So this one. And also feel free to debug this. So we can open here our project. We come to here with the template, and we can put a breakpoint, for example, after we click enter, London, enter. We are here, we have the parameter London, we have $event. This is what Angular sends to us in this parameter. So here we have the key code 13, the key identifier, its enter, and so on. And yeah, we can continue with the execution. So feel free to debug the application while you are coding. And I hope that you are so excited as me that this is getting to the place that we want to get. Okay, so see you in the next video.